morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Marvin Inoue, and I'm your chairperson this morning. The first thing I'd like to have you do is have opening remarks and a meditative reading, so please stand. The sun rises in the eastern sky and clears away the darkness of the world without prejudice or favoritism toward any particular region. So Buddha's compassion encompasses all people, encouraging them in the right and guiding them against evil. Thus, he clears away the darkness of ignorance and leads people to enlightenment. Namo Ida Butts. Namo Ida Butts. Namo Ida Butts. Please be seated. We will have Sutra Chanting, Sei Ge, and it's in this book, and the page number is, I'll have to, just a minute. I'm just looking at, I have to look for it. Page 39, Sei Ge. Thank you.
Busatsu Daimuryo Jukyo Tanbutsuges Jusege Gagoncho Segan Hishimu Jodo Shigan Humandoku Seihudyo Shoga Gao Muryoko Uindai Seishu Uthai Sho Bingu Seifudyo Shogak Gashi Jo Butndo Myosho Jippo Kukyo Mi Shomon Seifudyo Shogak Ryokujin Shonen Shoeishu Bongyo Shigumu Jodo Isho Teninshi Jinriki and Daiko Ushomu Taido Shodyo San Kumyo Kotai Shu Yakunan Kaihichi Egen Meshi Kon Moan Heisoku Sho Akudo Sudaten Shumon Kosojo Mandoku Ioro Jippo Nichigaten Shujuki Tenko Onhugen Ishu Kai Holo Koseku Dokuho Jo Odai Shuchu Sappo Shishiku Kuyo Isayabuten Kusokushu Tokuhon Anneishten Joman Tokui Sangayo Nyobuten Mugechi Sudaten Mi Husho Gangaku Namanabu, 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 Namanabu. Kani shikudoku, Byodo sei isai, do modai shin onyo.
Will the Sangha please rise for Gatha, Tsuki ga Deta on page 164.
Please remain standing for the reading of the Shin Buddhist Life Principles, all of us together. This is on page 9 if you're using the book. Shin Buddhist Life Principles. Entrusting in the vow of the Buddha, calling out the Buddha's name, I will pass through the journey of life with strength and joy. Revering the light of the Buddha, reflecting upon my imperfect self, I will strive to live a life of gratitude. Following the teachings of the Buddha, discerning the right path, I will share the true Dharma with all. Rejoicing in the compassion of the Buddha, respecting and aiding all sentient beings, I will work toward the welfare of society and the world. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Well, good morning, and thank you for attending this service or viewing it in cyberland. There are now going to be diminishing opportunities to see these services on the internet as we are moving slowly, cautiously, probably out of the COVID epidemic. So we're probably going to be dropping down to recording and streaming these services about once a month. Within the next month, that'll probably happen. So please, all of you who can, please get back into the habit of attending in person. And thank those of you who did for being here. Allow me to thank the Pasadena Buddhist Temple crew who make this service possible, including, of course, today's chairperson, Marvin Inoue, our videographer and tech support guy, Alan Goto, organist and tech support, Kathy Kumagai, flowers and Naijin preparation, Kyoko Okura Gibbs, and I also want to thank all of you and the, I'm trying to do the count here, 22 other people who came yesterday for the temple general cleanup. Thank you very much. Everything looks much brighter and cleaner than it had. We appreciate your efforts. Our temple here, the Pasadena Buddhist Temple, the building is 65 years old. It's hard to date the congregation. It's older, 80 years old, something like that. But the building's 65 years old. And we are one of 95 temples in the United States of America affiliated with Jodo Shinshu Honganji Ha. We have 60 temples here on the mainland and about 35 on the Hawaiian Islands. Additionally, we have our friends in Canada who are like we're getting. They're very small in the number of ministers, but they have a lot of temples. I'm not sure how many, about 12 or 15, I think, in Canada. Now, we are a school of Mahayana Buddhism, a large denomination. Nobody knows exact numbers, but probably including Nishi, Higashi, and the 8 other denominations, probably about 30 million Jodo Shinshu Buddhists. About the same number as Jodo Shu and Soto Zen and Nichiren Shu. Those are the 4 big schools of Japanese Buddhism. Our school, Jodo Shinshu Honganji Ha, our sister school, Jodo Shinshu Otani Ha, and Soto Zen, not Rinzai, which is small and wealthy, and also, of course, the Nichiren Shu, the older school of Nichiren-based Buddhism. There's 37 schools that trace themselves back to Nichiren, but the Nichiren Shu is about the same size as we are. Big schools, a lot of people. Now, there are hundreds of living schools of Buddhism, and each is quite unique. Yet we are all aspiring to fully understand the refreshing sameness of all things. Now, of course, in Mahayana Buddhism, what I have just called the refreshing sameness of all things is usually more commonly referred to as the oneness of all things, and I'll be using that term as well. In using the term sameness, I'm under Dennis Hirota's influence, and my reason for wanting to say that enlightenment is a sameness is to avoid any temptation to make moral judgments of others. The dynamic, pulsing, mutually interpenetrating, inseparable oneness of all things means that we are all the same in terms of worth, moral or otherwise. We value oneness, Buddhist persons do, but it's hard to take in all of its implications. We still want to think, well, if not us, there are these other really good people, and those people that really irritate us, oh, they're really different. We're all the same. It's very hard to accept. Shinran Shonin, at the age of 85, in his book, Notes on One's Calling, Many Calling, tells us, stop reflecting on your own evil deeds and thoughts, and stop judging others as good or evil. The more we think about it, the more we'll realize that the deep unity of all things means that we cannot judge others as good or bad. Now, a fact about the human appreciation of oneness, which may not be obvious, is that it's not obvious. In other words, it's hard for us to appreciate the unity underlying all of it. It's hard for us to appreciate the unity. Now, the 200 distinct schools of Mahayana Buddhism all point to the inseparable oneness of all life. Buddhists are reminded over and over again of the unity of all. We remember and then we forget all along the way. We are right about the undividedness of all persons, objects, and events. We Buddhists are right about this. So why does everyone fail to see it? Why do we forget it? Well, we have our drives, our bono, our greediness, our irritability, and our doofus tendency to get lost in our enjoyments and our worries. We get lost in enjoyments and worries, we get greedy, we get irritable. This is a block to our perceiving unity. This blocks our vision of the singleness of life. And also, as Shinran warned us in his mid-80s, we were reluctant to give up judging others and ourselves. Especially judging others is hard to give up. One life means that we're all in this together. We all move into the light together. We all move into the light of awakening, or else none of us does. This is our message, the Buddhist message, the Mahayana Buddhist message. All of us are aspects of the one great life that we all share together. Being sensitive to this singleness will lead us to live better. Sensitivity to the vigorous solidarity of all with all will lead us to live better, more kindly, to live more happily, to live with greater fulfillment. So we teach that life is a totality. In a variety of ways, we point to what is here, this singularity. We teach the concurrence and the unison of all events and all persons. All events are concurrent, all persons are one. As a Buddhist poem from China once put it, Buddhist priests are selling water by the river. Oneness is reality. Oneness is the truth. We eventually, every one of us will stumble and fall face first into it and realize it's one. We will get it. Every one of us will get it. It might seem exploitative to be selling water by the bank of a surging stream of pure, fresh water, but people are dying of thirst. People are dying of thirst. They will not, to push the metaphor a bit, lower their buckets into the river and draw up the clean water that would dampen their longing, the water of oneness. But some of them will buy the Dharma if we package it nicely enough and if we distribute it here at the temple. And they will continue to suffer greatly if someone does not get them the rejuvenating Dharma. If you have to sell it to them, you sell it to them. If they understand about dumping their bucket into the river, they don't need us. This genuine wholeness of life itself is our home. All living beings need to come home to the realization of being at home. We are really, all of us, one person, one personhood, one subjectivity, but we fail to recognize this. In the end, we will all return home. But the end could be a long way off, or not. We have a path, Namo Mirabutsu. We have a vehicle to take us back home, the vow of Amida Buddha. The great ocean of light is home for everyone. The great ocean of enlightenment is home for everyone, and we have an express train to take us there, Namo Amida Butsu. Everybody gets there one day, but some are taking the long way home. There will be a lot of suffering in the meantime for those who take the long way home. Don't take the long way home. Instead, ride on the great vehicle of Mahayana, or take the smaller vehicle with its quite specific concentrated path, the Theravada, or ride the diamond-like vehicle of Shingon in Tibetan Buddhism. There are 84,000 paths that will lead us home. Please find a specific path and walk it. I recommend the Jodo Shinshu path and the way it's been preserved by Hongan Jiha. I recommend this path of saying the Buddha's name relaxedly but reverently. There are many paths home, but you have to be on one of them. You have to be on a specific one of them to actually get home. If you're on the Nembutsu path, please stay on this specific path with us. There are only specific paths to the universal. Only a specific path will lead us home. Don't take the long way home. Join us on the Nembutsu path instead. Those who wish to, please join now in saying the Buddha's name a few times together. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much.
Will the Sangha please rise for the closing reflective reading? The secret of health for both mind and body is not to mourn for the past, not to worry about the future, or not to anticipate troubles, but to live in the present moment wisely and earnestly. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. It is worthy to perform the present duty well and without fail. Do not seek to avoid or postpone it till tomorrow. By acting now, one can live a good day. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, we now have announcements. I have two that I'd like to make you aware of. One is that there's a current temporary exhibit at the Japanese American National Museum called Don't Fence Me In, and it's about being a teenager in the camps. Unlike what most people think, that camp was terrible for middle school and high school students, it was a very fun time. You have a lot of farmers' kids that were living like quarter mile, half mile apart, and they used to have to get up in the morning, do farm work, have breakfast, go to school, come home, do farm work before they had dinner and did their homework. So being in the camps was a big change. They had all these social clubs like the Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, and all kinds of different model airplane clubs, sewing clubs, all kinds of, fun things to do, as well as social dances. So it was a fun time. That's called Don't Fence Me In. And there's another exhibit opening this coming Friday called Aki's Market, and it has to do with a market that was on the corner in Boyle Heights. So that will be opening this coming Friday. And I also wanted to remind people that there's also a mini Doka pilgrimage coming up in early July, as well as the Heart Mountain pilgrimage at the end of July, 27th, 28th, and 29th. Okay? That takes care of my announcements.
This Tuesday, we believe we're resuming the Obon dance practices at 7 p.m. Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. until we actually have the festival. Tuesday at 7 p.m. I also have Buddhist study class and a meditation class at 6. So this week we'll move into the annex. I'm not sure what we'll do after that, but all classes are still on this week, including newly added this Tuesday, Obon dance practice. Everyone is welcome. Please come out if you can.
One last announcement. I believe today is the second day of San Fernando's Obon, okay? Also, we think West Covina. Thank you. Bye-bye.
will conclude our service. For those who were able to come in person, I will refresh the incense momentarily if you had not offered incense yet. We hope to see you next Sunday, and also perhaps at the dance practices on Tuesday, Tai Chi Tuesday and Thursday at 1. Thank you for joining us for this service. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much.